Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the Ask Dr. Be Good show, where we try to shed a positive light on the neat things that are happening in public education. And one of those neat things that we get to do at Legacy that not many schools get to do, especially charter schools, is to talk about our VIT program. Our VIT program is a Visiting International Teacher Program. And today we are delving in deeper. Last year we had some of our Spaniards come on and talk about their experience, but this year we're going to really talk about the behind the scenes piece. So how does this really happen on a program, or on a, well, it is the program is 33 years old, so they've been doing this a while, and let's talk about how it's developed over time and the need and so forth. So because we have so much to do, let's hurry into our introduction so that we can get to the chat. We're going to start with the people who have sort of come the furthest digitally, and that is our folks from Region 13 in Austin. You want to introduce yourselves, please?
Hi, I am Silvia Diaz de Alda. I am the Education Advisor for the Spanish Ministry of Education.
Thank you.
And I am Jessica Pruneda. I am the VIT Project Program Coordinator based out of Region 13. We are the J1 visa sponsor for our teachers.
Thank you. All right, now around the table here in Dallas, who do we have with us?
I am Rosalia Garcia. I'm a Spanish teacher, and here I'm teaching kindergarten.
Hi, I'm Arturo Sanchez. I'm a teacher at Mesquite Kindergarten also, and I come from Spain also.
My name is Ida Dominguez. I'm the Special Programs Coordinator for Legacy Preparatory.
Okay, so let's delve into the back part of the program. Can you ladies in Austin tell us a little bit about the program? How long? I did say how long it's going on. It's been going on a long while. What can you tell us about the VIT program from your side?
Mm-hmm. Well, the Visiting International Teacher Program started about 33 years ago, as you said, and it started in 1998 in Texas, but it's a nationwide program, and it's actually in 35 states in the United States and one province in Alberta. And every year we take, there are about 600 teachers who come to the United States, and half that number is teachers who come to Texas. So about more than 300 teachers come to Texas every year to teach at different schools and at different levels.
And so, Jessica, can you talk about the Region 13 side of it?
Yes, so effective 2011, the Texas Education Agency charged Educational Service Center Region 13 with the job of coordinating the program and being the sponsor, the J1 visa sponsor for this program with our teachers from Spain. And so since that year, Region 13 has been successfully, I would say, coordinating the program. And, we have seen years, we've had many more teachers, and these last few years have tapered off. The number of candidates have tapered off, and to like about 150 each year the past few years. So we're looking at that number for the number of potential candidates that we can recruit in the spring of 2020. And so as project coordinator, Sylvia and I work closely together, and so while she oversees just the logistics of the Spanish side of it, I oversee all of the initial visa records that the teachers need and maintain their records throughout the time that they're participating in the program, making sure that their travel documentation is in order, and just, also occasionally providing information to them regarding all of their travel documentation and other opportunities that they have within the program, like extending their stay for a 4th or 5th year, and making those visa extensions possible for them by answering to the Department of State, as well as answering to the Texas Education Agency with regards to their certification that they have when they're participating in our program here in Texas.
Let me compliment you guys on that, because I've had the pleasure of working with our government on H-1Bs, and it's not fun work. It's very unsure work. And yet you guys seamlessly seem to be able to do this J-1B work without any issues. We've never had a teacher not be able to come. We've never had a teacher had to leave in the middle of the year. I've had some of that with the H-1B. So kudos to you guys and your work that you're doing with the federal government, and keep the good work coming, because this is an important need that is being filled. Can you all talk about that need from a either Texas standpoint or a national standpoint? Why is there even a VIT program?
Well, there's a VIT program because I think it needs to cover the need for specialized Spanish teachers. That would be more in states where they need teachers who teach Spanish as a foreign language. But also here in Texas, there's a need for bilingual teachers. And the Spanish teachers who come to Texas help fulfill this need.
Definitely, I would say, and piggyback off of what Silvia said, is that here in the state of Texas, for years and years, we have always seen a need for certified bilingual teachers, and just geographically being next to, of course, Mexico and other Spanish-speaking countries, we have an influx of immigrants, and that become families that live here in the U.S., and so there's a need to serve our students whose first language is Spanish. And so there are many educators that promote bilingualism. We want to conserve the language, and we want to promote it and value the fact that many of our students speak Spanish. And so it is very common to see, bilingual programs as well as dual language programs being implemented across the state of Texas. And so our teachers from Spain come as exemplary models of the Spanish instruction and are very quick to adapt and learn the best practices, with the needed continuous support. They can adapt very well and be highly successful in the dual language and bilingual classrooms across the state of Texas.
Yes, and they, as somebody who's intimately involved in the recruiting process of bilingual teachers, Spanish teachers, dual language teachers, the way I am, and I do that because I was a bilingual teacher, I was a bilingual principal, and so I keep my hand in the game that way. The ease through which we're able to bring people over completely certified, considered completely certified by TEA, without having visa issues. That's, having fought the fight with other countries with the H-1B, it's wonderful. It's a program that I wish we could get a lot more candidates interested in. You mentioned that the pool is smaller. You didn't really say why. You want to talk about why?
Sure. Yeah. So I can definitely go into a very important entity that establishes the program regulations for the teacher category of the exchange visitor program, and that's the Department of State. At the national level, they establish the program regulations, and each and every one of our candidates and those selected as teachers have to meet with specific eligibility requirements. And so I guess one of those, several perhaps program regulations have impacted the number of candidates that we could bring over. And effective in 2016, per the Department of State, there was a regulation that stated, and it still exists, that teachers have to have at least 2 years of experience teaching as teachers of record, plus they must currently be living in their home country of Spain during the time that they apply to the program. And so I would definitely say with certainty that those program regulations have impacted and perhaps reduced the number of potential candidates that apply to our program. Yet one thing we definitely have to consistently be aware of is the fact that as a program sponsor, we respond to the Department of State and must always be in compliance with the program regulations.
Sure. Oh yeah. Well, that's because you do that. That's why it's so you make it so seamless for us, and so thank you for that. So let's talk a little bit then. We've you guys have created the environment that makes this possible, and then we go over to the interview process in April. You invite us. Let me see if I'm getting this right. We're about to get a letter, or we just got a letter to apply for next year, right?
Yes.
Right.
And then we have to have it in by December 18th. And then you all let us know at the end of January if we're selected to go. If we're selected to go, then we have to go in March to Austin for the mandatory one-dayer of, and I don't know if that's just y'all's rule or if that's a mandatory part, but we have to go every year, send a representative to bring back the information, maybe any updates. Is that pretty much for returning schools?
Yes, and we consider that annual meeting that one day of the year when we get to see our VIT family, meaning all of our district representatives. If there are any program updates, we officially share those updates on that day. Having representatives from the Texas Education Agency is also very important because then, we provide our districts a refresher on the certification process. The Spanish ministry also makes it a point to provide information regarding maybe any changes or modifications to the program from the Spanish ministry standpoint. So it's just that one day where we get to share a lot of important information. And while a lot of things remain the same, we like the consistency from year to year. When there are updates and changes, we want to be sure that we're sharing that face to face. It's the only day of the year that we get to actually see everybody and then really talk about logistics for the upcoming trip that takes place at the end of March or perhaps even in April. Which happens to be in April many years.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll talk to the interview process in the sense that I've been the last 4 years, and we meet for the first time on a Sunday, and again, it's sort of that same orientation of the people who are coming to do the interviews, and we go through the PowerPoint, any updates and so forth, because it's not always the same people who go in March to see you in Austin who show up on Sunday in Madrid, right? And so we go over that again, make sure that everybody's on the same page. And for the new people, you either give us names or you tell us when you're going to give us our rosters for the next day. And any activities that are going on, you guys usually host a nice meet and greet with the Spanish consulate. And sometimes you bring VIPs in during that. And that's always a nice get together. Don't have to eat dinner after that. And so forth. So then we spend 5 days interviewing. Every day we meet in the morning. You guys have an orientation with the candidates first, then they're sent to our hallways. There's chairs outside the rooms that are used for interviews. And the interviews come in very nervous, but we'll talk about that in a minute. And then in the afternoon, if we've selected anybody, they come in the afternoon of that day, and they're invited to the district to, and oftentimes they give us their information, we scan it, and so forth. So it's a very structured, formal type of week that, to me, it hasn't changed, and it's worked because it's worked. It's a very effective system that you have going. And then by the end of the week, Saturday, everybody's pretty much done. And of course, we're done, but you're not, because you have a second week after that, right?
Correct.
The next group of schools.
Second week.
Yeah. Wow. Anyway, that's the interview process. But let's go to now, Ida. I'm going to go to you because you are sort of our liaison between our candidates that are coming in internationally. What happens? We get the emails and the names of our candidates that we've selected. What happens then?
Well, immediately they're contacted first by Human Resources to greet them to the district and send them information about paperwork or things that are needed. But also, prior to that, we have already created a Welcome to Dallas manual, a guide, that we have it ready for them. And so then they get familiarized to some of the things that are daily for us, but not necessary for them because they come from across the country. Which road, which side of the road we drive, facts about tolls, rental cars, buying cars.
School buses with the stop sign
The,
on
the yes, yes. Also, information or contacts that they can start communicating with realtor to give them information about the areas, the residential areas near their schools that they are going to be at, and also an insurance broker that's going to talk to them about the different type of insurances for homeowners or rentals insurance, car insurance, the different types of insurance. So they have that information and that guide so they can start establishing orientations, talking to those people that are experts in those areas, and they work in relocating and helping with relocating. So that's why it's important to those contacts that we have already established, and they speak the same language. So it makes them feel comfortable. They don't have to do business with them. It's mostly about orientation. Also, we put them in contact with the Spaniards that we have already with us, and maybe some of them that are returning home, and they can exchange and purchase items that they're selling or learn about the apartment complexes where they have been living. So we established that, start working with that relationship and that contact, making them part of our family already.
And that starts days after, right? I mean,
Yes.
when we get
Immediately
your
we
email-
get the names
Yeah.
with the email.
I always say that there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on behind my back with you guys. You know, I'm always amazed that you come in settled and have your apartments and all that. And that's because people, last year was Javier Candelas,
Yes.
who was our dual language coach and a third-year Spaniard who helped with that. Just a lot of support for our incomings. So let's talk to our incomings now. Arturo, you were 2 years ago, and Rosalia, you were this year.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the interview process and then your orientation coming in.
Okay. At the beginning, when I went to the interview, I didn't know exactly how it was going to be, but I had my challenge. I mean, I want to be in the program, so I went because I thought that these kind of programs, they are very interesting as a professional and as a person, because they grow up. You can grow up with this kind of programs. This is cultural exchange is very interesting for all the people, and as a professional, is an opportunity to just bring. You have to. It's very important to have an open mind, because all the things that are different here, we cannot think that we are going to do the same as we are doing in Spain. That's the most interesting thing in the interview. Is I didn't know exactly how all the questions, but the one important point, it was we have to have the idea of that we are different countries with different cultural educational systems and another things that we can brought here to our students, and we can have this big experience with them and with all the country and all the I came with my family, so it was very interesting for us to just have this experience and know the country, living here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not the same as visiting for a week.
No, it's not the same at all. So, and at the beginning it was pretty hard.
Sure it was. Of course it was.
Because, as Alda, you came without your house, you have to rent a car, rent a house. So at the beginning there's a lot of things that you have to, a lot of paperwork that we have to be done. But I know that this like a master in life that you're doing. So it's very, very interesting for all the people just to have this opportunity.
Well, and we're glad you're here. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Arturo, talk a little bit about your interview process and your transition here.
Well, I remember that day as a long day,
Yeah.
a very long day. But it was. I remember happiness also that day. At the end of the day, I was happy. People was willing to come to Texas, and well, I remember your tips, Dr. Good, and your advice in the interview, such as people rush in Dallas because of the hot climate, of the hot weather, and that's something that you remember these days. I don't know. Now is my second year. The transition, I agree with Rosalia. The transition is hard, but I have to say that I recommend it to everyone. That it's something that I like your words, Rosalia, mastering life, because
Yeah, it's like
it's something that professional, personal is going to change you. You have to be open-minded. That's what we always say. At the beginning, it's hard, but you have a lot of support from the school, from Region 10, and the supporting legacy is very important because it's what it makes the difference when you are doing your day to day. So now this second year.
Easy peasy, right?
Yeah. Well, now I'm kinder. I was in third grade, but yeah, I'm getting adapted to it. I think in a good way. With work and commitment, you can do wherever you want. So I'm happy this year too.
Well, good. I'm glad. And understand that what we think you bring to the classroom is priceless for our children. That international understanding of somewhere else that they would not probably get, especially in Mesquite, who so many of our kids tend not to have opportunities to visit other places. And so when you do your cultural tasks and activities and so forth, you're really opening up the world to them. And that's huge.
I agree.
Yeah. It's like every day we learn from the students. I teach them, but I learn from them as well. So it's just always, every day. Like I'm well, in Spain I've been 17 years teaching there, but it's like every day I can learn new things. Just that's the nice of teaching, no?
Sure.
Like every day you can teach, you can learn at the same time that you are teaching them new things, you're learning from them as well.
So what have you learned about our American system? And either one of you can answer this. What is different, or what have you learned about our American system compared to the Spanish system?
Well, it's a lot of difference, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I just learned a lot in different methodologies. Like, well, here in Legacy is very interesting, like all the trainings, because I'm improving a lot with my teaching in class, just showing like the way, well, the timetable of the schedule is longer than ours. So, but we have to know how to just keep the students just in task, just pay attention, just don't to get bored. So you have to have all these materials and methodologies to take them to be learning all the time, but at the same time just improving and having fun. I mean, at the same time they are learning. I mean, and in Spain, well, like with my students, I'm doing right now, like with these celebrities, Thanksgiving, Halloween. So how can we celebrate? How we celebrate in Spain? It's different way.
Oh, that's
we
neat.
don't have Thanksgiving, but we used to do another traditions, another celebration. So it's very interesting for them that, and with the different. Well, the reason with this week we were teaching like geography. How is where is Spain? It's not in South America. It's not in North America. It's in another continent. So we just share these kinds of things all the time, like geography, cultural celebrations.
And you understand that they wouldn't care where Spain is if it weren't you. But you're making Spain important to them. You're
and
putting
Chinese,
Spain on
like
there.
In the school they learn Chinese as well. So it's like all different countries in different place around the world. They are
Well, again, you're making the world more alive to them.
yeah.
Because of where you're from, and the fact that we have Chinese teachers that come in and can add that to their radar. That's huge in kinder.
Yeah,
Curiosity, raise curiosity in them. It's like, and that engages them. I believe so, because what I can see the difference between third grade and kinder is like, in kinder wow, they grow so fast. They are so curious about
they're
everything.
So curious. Yeah,
they learn a
that's
lot.
Yeah, they're like sponges, aren't they?
Exactly. We say the same in Spanish.
Yeah.
Aprenden como esponjas.
Yes. And so what do you see as big difference between the way you taught in Spain, Arturo, and the way you teach here?
Well, actually, there was a big difference because I was teaching higher grades in Spain, history, and so elementary was a challenge for me. But well, talking about the system, there are many differences that I'm keeping these things to take with me when I come back. Team working, we have to learn a lot in Spain about that.
PBL?
PBL, thank you.
PBL,
I had that on my mind and I didn't remember. Centers, working in centers is something that they tell me, my team tell me that they already work in centers in elementary there in Spain, but in secondary, middle school, I haven't seen it.
We do it.
Ever.
We do it at Legacy
Yeah,
and the
I know.
secondaries.
So I think that it's something that, well, it's a great advantage for students to learn, and I have learned a lot from centers. I like it.
Well, it speaks well of teachers who can manage a room of centers. You know, because you're working with your center
It's hard, right?
while the other 3 centers are going on, and you're having to be looking and then looking at them, and so you've sort of become a pretty good teacher when you're able to have good centers going on and no discipline, right, issues. So good for you. Ida, talk about the overall, over time, how have we at Legacy grown better at supporting our Spanish teachers?
We've learned over the past, this is our 4th year with teachers, and we've learned that the support, the building the relationship with them from the beginning, from the get-go, is really important. So that way when they arrive, hopefully, they arrive like already being part of it and not just brand new. But we've also learned about the support in the classroom, having the different coaches for the content areas, support them, model to them, and also the mentorship. The mentorship program has grown significantly, and where we have that they meet every month to work on different skills, different tasks, do observations from both parts, learn from the observations, put that in practice, and I think y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that has been the huge part and the huge growth that we've had in the program, and that brings the success of our teachers.
Now, one of the things that you're required to do, and correct me if I'm wrong, ladies in Austin, I think it's still part of the program, you have some cultural activities and exchanges to do, is that right, as part of your requirements?
Yes, it is.
Can you talk a little bit about those cultural tasks?
Yeah, I can say what I did last year.
Okay.
And, it was like a two-part activity, and consisted on letters, but also a video. I recorded a video of my students and sent them to another teacher there from the same grade.
In Spain?
In Spain.
Mm-hmm.
And they send it back, and
nice.
And they get to know each other. So it was nice.
Like a pen pals. You remember the pen pals in the old days when you would write somebody across the world?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's neat. And so what are you going to do this year?
I have to think about it, but maybe I repeat something similar. I haven't thought about it yet, because we have time yet. So
I know that you guys have done
figure
something
out.
in Mesquite as far as the Mesquite school, because at the PTO meeting, I think, they had the multicultural night, and you guys made
Oh, yeah.
tortilla.
The patata.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
There we were.
Yeah. So you're already starting that cultural exchange. And so I was happy I was there. I got to
Yeah.
taste them. What are you going to do, Ms. Garcia?
Yeah, well, I'm already just recording a video, because I think that's very interesting with these ages, with young, like children, 5 years old children, like they can see another class, different class, like the distribution, like how is the class in Spain, how is our class in here, because I have contact with my friends here over there with a kindergarten teacher as well. So we are doing at the same time like different videos to send us I will send them mine, and they will send us in Spain from them another one. So.
Are your teacher friends in Spain curious? Are they asking you lots of questions?
Yeah, a lot of questions. I just like every day telling them, "Oh, I'm doing this. What are you doing?" Like about the same objective. It's like we're teaching. Well, I know a lot of teachers doing. I used to teach elementary, but I work as well with a kindergarten teacher. So. And like different objectives, like to work with the children on it. So, my children, they do this. How do they do?
So you're already training the teachers in Spain how to do some of the practices.
Like Arturo said about the centers, because we did kind of centers, but not the same one. So it's very useful for us as a teacher. This kind of like you have a contact with a small group at one time, so you can teach a lot in that moment. So it's like this rotation helps you to teach a lot short time, but improve the time. Yeah,
right.
It's very interesting in that way.
So we have come towards the end of our time already. As we said, 30 minutes feels like 5. We thank you ladies in Austin for helping us understand the what would you call the operational side of the program. Keep up the good work. Obviously, I've never felt any glitches, so whatever you're doing with the State Department, it's working. And so thank you for that. And thank you for coming on and talking a little bit about your experiences, Ms. Ida. Gracias. Ida and I were in Puerto Rico last week doing more recruiting, so the job is never done, but I tell you, being able to bring back teachers who are certified, who are J1Bs, that's a very nice feeling of being able to bring teachers that can just be teaching and not worrying about taking the teacher test here in the United States. So thank you for coming on. We're coming to the end of our program, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you for tuning in to the Ask Dr. Be Good show. For more information on Legacy Preparatory Charter Schools, visit our website, legacypca.com, or call 469-249-1099. And remember to like us on Facebook, where we stream live weekly Tuesdays at 3 p.m.